And we're back. Let's start with one of the favorite parts of the show that everybody seems to love and get involved with. The top 5 game. Be sure to play along at home and get involved. This week, we got an interesting question because obviously, you know, we know the new season of Fortnite is coming very, very soon. And, you know, it's rumored to be an OG throwbacky type season. And with an OG throwbacky type season, the views and the numbers go crazy. Everybody's tunes into Fortnite. Everybody's watching, right? And so I wanted to take a look at the streamers this year, and more specifically, which streamers have had the most views this year. What are the top 5 most watched Fortnite streamers in 2024? Pause the video now, play along at home. Do not cheat. Do not cheat. Who are the top 5?
It's kind of unfair to Harry, considering there's a bit of a,
Yeah, no, hold on.
Yeah.
I think I got this.
There's one of them on the list right there in the top 5. Yeah, I'm on this one.
Yeah.
It pains me to write this name in second place. I can't lie.
Think carefully. I expect both of you to get.
Wait, is this English or every language?
No.
This is every language. The top 5 most viewed Fortnite streamers this year, according to. I'm not going to say where in case one of you Googles it really quickly, because then you're.
No, I know. I already know who did this, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to think of other language people.
I have other language people, but all I'm thinking is competitive, and I'm like, there's got to be one which is just not competitive. It's going to be like some casual. There's one. I mean,
who streams Fortnite? Just have a think. Just think about it. I feel like you're overthinking this too much.
I am overthinking it way too much. I mean.
Well, I know the English one because I always get tagged in those like top 50 choice.
That's a weird flex. That's a weird flex.
I don't know. I'm just in the top 50. It's not that hard when there's a few people in there, but
over the past
I'll go for a while.
There you go. First answer. There's still points for that. Remember?
Yeah, I forgot. Fuck it. Who am I gonna put?
I was distracting him.
This is such a bad answer. That's such a bad answer.
Okay, have you got? Is anyone locked in?
We're both locked in, yeah.
Boop. So who locked in first, Boop?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Boop. Reveal to us your top 5. Who are the most watched Fortnite streamers in 2024 according to Boop?
So those are Clicks in first place, as usual. Aussie Antics in second. Savage in third. Mongrel fourth. And I had to have another language in there, so I put Reason in the top 5, even though I think it's probably wrong for Reason.
I don't know if that's... So we've got very similar lists. Very, very similar lists. So if my list comes up, I'll
probably did like Nick A30 or something, I can bet.
Oh, that's a better answer than Nikov. That's a better answer. I was trying to think of anyone. So you got Clicks in first, Mr. Savage second, Aussie in third, Mongrel in fourth, and then Nikov in fifth. I was just trying to think of anyone different language.
Ooh. I think it's going to be a tie again.
Wait, what was Boop's list again?
It was Clicks, Aussie, Savage, Mongrel, Reason.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This should be a fun one. By the way we do this now, I can't, unless I'm mentally counting your answers, I don't. Quartz, you have who won, right? Like on the points, right? Quartz, you know who won. Okay, Quartz is making sure we're double checking who won. But I can reveal that the top 5 this week is going to be this. I'll start actually with 10. We'll do the top 10 because I have the answers for the top 10. A bit of suspense. In number 10, the one and only best OC player of all time, Oatly.
Oatly.
Oatly was the number 10.
Number 1 OC player, number 1 solo duo, number 1 PR. My goat.
14-time Everton's winner, by the way.
Yeah.
Go. Number 9 was Nikov. Frenchman, gentle mates himself.
That's
At least it's in the top 10. At least it's in the top 10. It would have been worse if it weren't.
Crazy.
Right. Okay, in number 8 was Blackouts. I'm not sure where I don't know too much
Brazil.
about Blackouts. That's a Brazilian streamer.
Yeah.
Biggest Brazil streamer. Wow, props to him. In number 7 was Reason FN.
Ooh.
The bestest mensch.
Yeah.
In number 6 was Jola Vanille.
Oh yeah, he's huge. Yeah.
I didn't realize that he actually is very high. Like that's props to Yola Vanille, man. He's a grinder.
That brother has like 7,000 viewers playing the most random shit all the time at like 11 p.m. or something. So yeah, it's massive.
Makes sense. So Quartz did say, I don't know if Quartz is speaking to the viewers right now, if they heard what he said, but Quartz did say that somebody has won definitively this week, according to the point format. So this week's top 5. In number 5, Can't believe none of you mentioned the GOAT himself, Ninja.
No. I put Ninja and swapped it out for Nikov. I put fucking Ninja and I swapped it.
Ninja is a grinder. The zero build grind for Ninja has not stopped all year long. In number 4, viewing party streamer Aussie Antics from Down Under. In number 3.
Fourth. Wow.
After his successful return to the game, Mongrel is the third most watched Fortnite streamer in 2024.
Wait, my order is crazy.
2, Mr. Savage.
Wait.
And so that leaves number 1, the big shitter, Clicks. Who else was it going to be? So
if I put Ninja, I actually would have had a bang on. Like,
you literally would have had the list exactly spot on. So with that being said, Harry did win this week. It was a close one. You could have got 5 out of 5, but you did win this week anyway, because obviously you both got the points for Clicks being correct, but then Harry got an extra point for having Mr. Savage in number 2 correctly, and then you both just had the rest of the other people.
How did Savage beat Aussie? I feel like Aussie's like in terms of like, I think in terms of like streaming hours, Aussie definitely beat maybe, I don't know.
100k. He hit 100k so many times. Like, I felt like he got so close to 100k Savage throughout the year.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So in terms of stream time, Aussie had 2,350. Savage only had 1,500.
Fucking
so
hell.
like Savage had way less stream time, but just consistently more peak viewers.
Should have been a bigger hater, man. Should have been a bigger hater.
The overall watcher, yeah, you're giving Aussie a lot of credit.
He can't be that good to be second, man. Come on. Jesus.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments down below what your top 5 was without knowing the answers, because you always get that one guy that comments the exact right top 5 and you're like, well, you obviously just didn't.
Man's life, bro. Man's life.
I swear, bro. I got it. Yeah, no, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Of course, it's only 3 of us again this week. When was the last time we had 4 of us?
Basically, me and Reese got into a massive fight. We can't be on the podcast at the same time, so you'll be expecting the trios more often.
I mean, it's bold Reese with no mustache. He just doesn't want to face his fears anymore. With Harry now slowly making a comeback, as I see.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this. I went and watched the podcast, so I shaved my mustache, right? All right, no, we're gonna go back to the beginning. I had the mustache first, right? I had the mustache first, and then Reese copies it. Then I shave it, and then Reese shaves it. Like, where's the originality? Like, where is the originality?
Yeah, but his is better, so like it doesn't matter who was
That's
first.
That's what people are gonna say. Yeah, people are gonna. It's not about who did it first, about who did it better, realistically.
Yeah, I'm just a trendsetter. It's okay, I guess.
Something like that. We have an interesting ep today because there's not a great deal going on, but there is a great deal going on, because in the world of Fortnite we are prepping for a new season of Fortnite, which is super exciting. There's a lot of news and leaks that we're going to get into. Of course, there's still some updates to have, to be given, regarding trios and whatnot, and what has been going on in that sense. So there'll be some things to talk about this week for sure. But before we get to that, we want to get to the amazing super thanks. Of course, we want to big up all the people who left comments on the show. We appreciate your support as always. But let's look at some of the people who, decided to add a bit of dollar to their subscription, or to their message, sorry. So Poke said, thanks for reading my comment. And yes, I don't got a girl, but at least I can listen to the greatest podcast of all time. Also, I have a take that I think Bolts and whoever he plays with next year will replicate what Peter did this year. So for context, Poke last week, had a comment about how his girl prefers Reese over Harry, and I quickly called out the fact that he did not sound like a brother that had a girl. Quite frankly. So respect to Poke for owning up and being like, you got me. Fair play, you did get me. On the second part of his message though, you guys think Bolts can replicate Pete's year?
I think it's like I think this is going to be a conversation we have throughout like the start of next year is, can anyone copy what Peterbot did, right? And it's just who can do it, or if it's even possible. I just think people need to understand how insane what Peterbot did this year is. It's never happened in Fortnite. I think it's very unlikely it will happen again. But you never know. Bolts is looking really good towards the end of this year. He's definitely coming into his own. And I'd be excited to see it, and I think that's a good rivalry, because I think after Globals, we were worried that it's like, oh, Peterbot's just going to do the exact same next year in trios, right? But having that little rivalry between Bolts' trio and Peterbot's trio, will make things exciting for sure.
See, you say rivalry, I say business opportunity. Because if I'm Peterbot, I'm looking at like all the other NA trios, right? I'm like, which other trio is in the way of me winning 3 out of 3 next season or next chapter? Hey, let me get Brother Bolts on the team, Like him and Booga have been done in a little bit. So, if you put Bolts, Cold, and Peterbot, drop the ego Peterbot, start tarping again, I mean, who the hell is going to stop them? So I say business opportunity. Let Bolts in on history and make history together.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because they played the duo catch cup with each other last week and won. Peterbot and Bolts, and
he was testing the waters.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like we're talking about, can he match what Peterbot did? He might just do it with Peterbot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, interesting one there. Thank you very much, Poke, for the super thanks. Let's see who's next. We have Avi Aesthetics.
Jesus.
Am I saying Avi Aesthetics? Am I saying that right?
Something like that.
I gotta cut you off here, 11, real quick, because bro, we get it. You're fucking jacked, man. Like, I see the picture. Like, I see the first message you message. It's just cardio in the morning. Like, we get it, bro. You've got like an 8-pack ab. You're fucking ripped as shit. Like, you're stealing all the female viewers. Move on. Go ahead, Levin. Sorry.
First off, I love the podcast while doing cardio in the morning. I love listening. However, I will not stand for the Oatly slander. Look at this season's performances on OCE, mind you. He gets stream sniped so hard, and for him to consistently win everything is insane. In my opinion, he'd do well in NA. We accidentally did give him some Oatly glates at the start of the show in the top 5 game, so he's going to be very, very happy. And like Boop said, thank you for increasing the female viewership. They're going to be loving this one. How female viewership has gone up to like 5%? Like, remember like 20 eps ago when we were joking about how it was like 1% or like 0.5% or something? We're up to like 5% now. The ladies are loving the show lately.
We were talking about like clean sheets, we're fresh men now, no mustaches, Well, we're eligible gentlemen now, of course it's gone up. Bachelors or gentlemen.
That female viewership is all 60 plus. So
hey, we'll take what we can get.
we'll take it. Thank you, Anne Fishy. Right.
Oh my.
Okay.
Thank you.
Going out of range on the podcast. That's weird from you, by the way. Like, that's actually really weird from you. Like,
everyone loves Anne, man. We all love Anne.
We do love Anne.
All right, next one. Let's see. What did JRU have to say? Oh, we got a bit of
before we get into this one, we didn't even talk about the comment about Oatly.
Oh, yeah,
true. Actually, to be fair, I mean, do you guys think Oatly would do well in NA?
I don't think he'd get teammates. That's the problem. That's his whole problem. I think if he got rid of his whole gimmick and just started playing
gimmick,
his whole gimmick, that's him.
Gimmick, it's a
Sorry,
lifestyle. The frick.
If he changed his lifestyle, and just became, the typical Fortnite kid, I think he'd get some teammates. But that was his problem for a long time on OC till he got Vortex, was no one wanted to play with him because they found him annoying. They die and he'd just be. They die in like 5th in an end game in a cash cup. And he's like, "Yo, what an end game, guys!" And his teammates was like, "What the fuck has gone on? Like, it's not even that good." Like,
I remember there was that one season where they did badly in an FNtasia. I don't remember who the teammate was, and then the teammate just left. He was in the call last game. They finished. Oh, it was like, "Well, GG's," and the guy was like, "Fuck you," and he just left it.
It was Tui. It was Tui.
Oh, it was the single greatest clip I've ever seen. He just crashed out, and only was like, whoa, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I mean, I love Oatly, man. I think they like to hate on Oatly, but we also want to see Oatly succeed. And I do think the one thing that I don't like about Oatly is the fact that he doesn't want to go to LAN. I want to see that brother try. I feel like he sandbags every time, because I think he's really good. If you watch his mechanics, he's really good player. Good. But I swear to God, this brother throws on purpose so that he doesn't make globals. I swear to God, every single time he's this close, he throws. I don't know if he throws on purpose, but it seems like it because he doesn't want to go to LAN. But yeah.
I do think that is weird, but yeah, I'm also on the bandwagon of I think Oatly's a really good player. You actually watch him, he is mechanically pretty good. And he's a 58 times solo Cash Cup finalist. Like, you don't get that by just being a bad player,
I think Oatly's good, but he just he talks in YouTube titles. So it's hard for me to watch him, No,
but you got to embrace it and go, it's funny. It's you can't watch it for long periods of time, but an end game in it, that's worth it.
Yeah, I guess. Shout out to Oatly, man. I guess. Yeah.
Well,
shout out to all the OC people as well, because as we established last week, we actually do have a big OC following audience who enjoys watching the show.
This is our average viewer and listener, by the way. This guy.
Yeah.
The average FNtasia enjoyer, it looks like this.
Hey, for all of you listening to the pod right now, sat lazy as hell doing fuck all, listen and be like this guy, mate. Do some cardio while you listen to the pod, eh? Don't just be sat there crank. I know, look at you. You're sat there right now cranking 90s and creative.
You're probably out of breath. You're probably out of breath cranking 90s too. Huh?
I'm out of breath, side. Like, what are you doing there?
Stand up and do something with your life. Come on. Motivational podcast now.
Motivation. All right. Number 4, JRU with the essay. What did he? I've got to zoom in to read this. All right. JRU said, as far as trio options for Savage, Reet would be solid. He streams everything, so the content aspect is covered. As far as gameplay, Reet is an excellent fighter, albeit on controller. Reet also wants to try and IGL. True, he's been trying to IGL recently. So Savage could frag freely with Growl. Do y'all see the vision for this, or is this L rage bait for the furries? I'm gonna let Boop answer that because we know he's got a great relationship with the furries.
Oh, yeah. I am the furry apparently. Me personally, I mean it makes sense. Again, these are just such broad picks for duos and trios that it's just never gonna happen. You know, like Mongo and Savage aren't traveling all the way to NA to play with Reet. Reet ain't traveling to EU to play with them. And at this point, it doesn't even seem like Mongo and Savage might want to stick together anymore after Savage tweeted that he's looking for 1 or looking for 2 without Mongo. So, Beat, in theory, does make sense, but a controller typer, I mean, I don't really put my faith in that too often. Again, I'm still on the bandwagon to put Brother Mongo in the tarps unless Savage frag out with somebody else.
Yeah, you've been really pushing that one. Every time I watch your stream, you mention it. Like, I'm cooking, guys, trust.
It's the one group and I'll cook.
Bro, trust me, bro.
Alright, on to the next part of this guy's comment. He said, also, I'm sure I speak for the majority of people when I say we need a content creators cup. Maybe break it into 2 stages. One could be a creative stage, zonies, box fights, 1v1s. The other would be standard 6-game format. Let's put Boop to the test against Cypher PK, Reese and Levon can settle things. DJ and Vibe and Jiven, Jerryan versus Archie, Lachlan versus Ozzy, etc. Technically, you could invite Click. Well, that just ruins everything. You can invite Click Savage.
I'll go fuck myself then, I guess. Like, I'll just go fuck myself. Like, I just don't want to be a part of it. Actually.
I just completely forgot you. And another pro content creator to play the winners. Think of the vision. I love both this pod and Hotline FN. It's honestly refreshing and much needed for the competitive side of Fortnite. Anyways, thank you for the content. Wish you all the best from NA.
Didn't read all, but happy it happened or sad that it happened, you know?
What's wrong?
Me personally, wow. I know, JRU, I read your message alongside 11-2K. I was mouthing the
Leave
words.
On 2K. Leave
on 2K. Yeah, fuck Cypher PK. He be put in the whoopty. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, damn. All right.
But a content creator cup, yeah, but I had the final bit of that message. The problem with the content creator cups is you just had Click Savage Mongo, and it's like, well, then now it's not enjoyable. So then you have to do the Boomer cups. And
yeah, whatever happened to that? Didn't they actually used to have the Boomer cup?
Yeah, 25 plus.
Oh, sadly, we wouldn't even be able to play with it. Yeah. Only Boop and Reese could play that.
Hey. I'll be the best of those, at least, to be fair. What I do think, like, would this type of cup be fitting for like a LAN environment? Because I don't like CS and even League of Legends. They have show matches, right? Like you get to play before the big grand final at the end. There's a big show match with a bunch of content creators. Would that even be worth it for like Epic to ever start? Like, let's say from an official standpoint, like does that bring people to the arenas to fill the seats?
I think so. I think if you had like Ninja, like you could bring all the OGs back, all of the biggest creators, and get them to play. Yeah, for sure. I think it's more the chance for like fans to meet those players, and you do a meet and greet with those players as well, and content creators. I feel like there's a higher chance that you can either do it like the day of, like day one, and do it like early in the day, or you could do it like on the Friday or something or whatever. But no, for sure, it sounds like that's actually a really good idea to get people into it.
I mean, I was at Globals. There was a moment during Globals where I'm stood by like an entrance and there's like a whole big group of fans and a bunch of people are like, yo, Levin, man, yo, Levin, can you sign this for me? Da, 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 da. And I'm feeling like the man, you know, I'm like, the guy right now.
Casual day.
And as I'm signing something, I can just feel everybody's attention just shift. There's like 50 people and all of a sudden everyone just goes, just looks the other way. And I just start hearing, Cypher!
Oh, my.
The guy fucking, like, that I'm signing
You stole your thunder, bro.
The guy I was signing for was like, mate, can I get my pen back, mate? Cypher.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on, quickly.
Give me my pen
Cypher's
back, mate.
there.
And to be fair, I was very happy. Like, I went to Cypher, I was like, thank you very much, because I was here for way too long. And he must have been there for a fucking hour and a half, mate. So, in terms of, do these guys get people showing up for events and excited to be there? Absolutely. I've felt like it's almost a waste of having guys like Cypher and etc. come if we can't use them more, right? Like, let's do some pro-am-y type stuff. Even if it isn't the 100-player pro-ams that we used to have before, even if it is just like a creative thing where we get him on stage and doing some stuff, it would be sick, I think.
I mean, to be fair, we had the Blake and Somerset interview 3 times, so like we made good use of them in globals. But I mean, I think a lot of people would just fly to globals. Like if Epic invited them, they'd go. Like you wouldn't even need to pay them, right? Like the people would like the opportunity to just be there and to meet fans and do stuff like that. So
yeah, 100%.
For sure.
All right, let's thank you very much, JRU, for the comment. Shout out to NA, of course, another NA viewer here, a notorious FNtasia NA viewer. Tai in number 3 this week. What did Tai have to say? Love all the Booger Glaze this episode.
I would, I'd stop right now.
The podcast ends right here, man. You know, there's nothing else to talk about.
I mean, last week we did give Booger a lot of props, and Tai is always quick to call us out if we're not. It's funny though, because like there was a comment last week where someone was like, you guys love hating on Booger. And I'm like, did you listen to the app? Like we spent like an hour just bigging up Booger. Like I was a bit confused by that. But yes, a lot of Booger Glaze last episode. Probably not much this episode, if we're being completely honest. But we'll get there. Our good friend Fresh Boy Swag Almighty back in number 2. Yeah, back towards this guy's got money to spend there. What did Fresh Boy have to say this week? Go on, Courts. Slowpoke. Blackballing Harry so bad that they even cut out his segment when he's not on the show.
Hey, the segment is coming back. It will be returning.
Due to unpopular demand, it's back.
Hey, read the comments when it wasn't there. Everyone missed it.
That's just a minor regions be like, oh my god, they noticed Middle East or Asia.
Last step, there was a problem with the audio while Reese was like digging up bolts, so we had to cut like a good 3-4 minutes, I think it was like 5 minutes from the pod, and that was filled with glaze. Honestly, I wish we could have released it. It was just riddled with. I've never seen Reese Hub and Boop glaze that hard. Like I was so confused.
This was a one-man show on this one. It wasn't me glazing as much. I've never seen Reese Hub move. Hold on a second. The only mouth that was moving was Reese's mouth in that segment, buddy. I've never seen that thing. I've never seen it move so quick.
Yeah,
I go for 1 week and what happens? This I'm hearing glaze offs.
Harry just couldn't let Reese take another thunder, so you had to like sue him to get it off the show.
No,
and the audio was even fine. And Harry was just like, "No, we can't have Reese take my thing too again."
If you guys thought Harry's glazing corner was bad, if you had heard the shit Reese started saying, bro, you guys would have been oh man. But yeah, no, the segment will be back later today. But this week's Victory Royale goes to the one and only Agent Gabe. Big up yourself. Boom. Vic Roy. Gabe said, okay, hear me out. What if Mongo and Savage moved to NA and played with Polarize? Not sure if they're friends, but I think they'd have a funny dynamic. Is Gabe cooking? Is Polarize the option?
I think Gabe might be cooking. I think that there's potential there. Now, I don't think he's cooking anything delicious. Like, I think this is a good cook, but I don't think they'll do well as a trio, being honest. I don't think the player like Polarize is like kind of what works, but like for the content wise and like, farming the TikTok kids, having like the Polarize in there that everyone thinks is the best player in the world would be very fitting. Don't think they'll end up doing well though. Unfortunately,
no.
I think Polarize probably fits a lot of the requirements we set out last week, right? In terms of like, Polarize isn't bad at the game, right? He streams, he does content, blah, blah, blah. But when you think about how that trio would actually do, I'm with you, Boop. I don't know if that works too well.
It's not a cook. It's not. I don't think it's a cook. I mean, as you said already, Boop, we don't even know if Monger and Savage is going to be a thing. But I just don't think I think there's enough players like Polarized, maybe not with the TikTok fans, who are on EU. I don't think of Polarized as like insane, underrated talent who Monger and Savage could play with, and it would make them so much better than they already are. I just think they could get that type of player on EU and not have to move to NA.
Right. Yeah, it's almost similar to the Reap thing where it's like, are you moving to NA to play with Polarized? Like, you're just...
Is that worth it? Yeah.
You know, like, you're just not.
Also, Polarized isn't a grinder. Like, that guy is very lazy when it comes to, like, things I've seen. I mean...
He's not a grinder. Fuck him.
I mean, bro, he took like a month off of streaming or something, didn't he? I didn't mean it. I mean, he...
Bro said, fuck that guy, he's lazy. What the fuck?
No, he took like a month off of streaming or something, I swear, like YouTube videos. So, like, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's not that Polarized is lazy. It's that Mongo and Savage are just such big grinders and they want it so much, you know?
I'm pretty sure 15 seconds ago you said Polarized is lazy. So
I was finished. Compared to the fire inside of Mongo and Savage, Polarized's flame doesn't hold a candle to Mongo and Savage's fiery depths or whatever.
Polarized, Boop called you a bum, mate. So just he called you a lazy bum.
I did not. I like Polarized. He's very rich too.
Yeah, I guess.
Like Mongo Savage.
I guess that counts for something.
A requirement.
I mean, they can just you can just rich check people off the job spot, you know? Like, we have Porsches, bro.
All right. Well, before we move on to the rest of the show, I want to remind people: subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people don't realize this, and it didn't technically happen the last 2 weeks, but ignore that. The podcast is uploaded every week on Wednesdays, 3 p.m. I sometimes get people going, yo, like, when do you guys post the podcast? Wednesday, 3 p.m. every single week. We don't miss weeks, except for one after Globals, because we all needed a rest. But we're here every week. On Spotify, you can listen as well. On Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you can't watch the YouTube video or something, if you're out and about, or if you're, in-game playing Fortnite,
or working out.
Playing COD or some shit, COD just dropped. If you're playing Valorant or something, just slap the podcast on in the background. And cardio during exercise. If you're at the gym or going for a walk, which not many of you do, but for the few that do, there you go.
It's my go-to walk in the dog podcast. I love listening to FNtasia every morning.
You just love listening to your own voice.
I do.
Yeah, he does. He really
I have
does.
3 takes.
I do as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
I do as well. I always wonder when people are like, I can't listen back to my own voice. Like, I hate it. I feel myself. I fucking watch myself back.
I mean, are you kidding me? Have you heard your voice?
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't really count. Like,
yeah, most people talk like, and the level's like, ooh, it's like fucking Kratos, mate. Bro, no shit, you want to listen to your own voice.
Yeah, bro. I'll do like a segment and I'll watch that shit back.
Just like Poop said, when I think 11, I think of, ooh. Like, that's
my ooh.
You guys are so stupid. All right. Let's get into some Fortnite talk because, of course, next week, or this week, technically, because the way the dates work, we're getting Fortnite Remix. Yes, this Saturday, Fortnite Remix OG Chapter 2 for the people who don't know what Fortnite Remix is. Essentially, we are going back. It's been rumored for a long time that we're going to go have an OG season again, but it was going to be Chapter 2 this time instead of Chapter 1. We now know that it's called Fortnite Remix. Fortnite themselves brought out a tweet where they essentially addressed the rumors and they said, all right, here's what we can tell you for now. Yes, there's an event. More info coming tomorrow. I don't think we got that more info tomorrow. Oh, today is the tomorrow. This is on the 28th.
Like 3 hours from now, probably.
Yeah, so we'll probably find out that more info soon. They said, yes, we're going back to Chapter 2 Island with splashes of content from the earlier seasons. And yes, Remix comes with a tuneful twist. So let's address those last 2 points. We're going back to Chapter 2 Island. Good. We sort of already knew that this was going to be a Chapter 2 OG. Splashes of content from the earlier seasons. So I was watching, because I don't know where to get casual info nowadays. So I actually was watching some Ali A. Shout out to my dog, Ali A.
Big up Ali A.
Big up
Ali A.
invite
him to the intro.
I was vibing. You know, I met Ali A actually. I met Ali A at a Sidemen
Side for
party
PK, then Ali
last
A,
year.
man.
Yeah, no, I met Ali. Ali is a super nice
Ali
guy,
A,
bro.
Sidemen Party, Side PK. Yeah, just you flex the rules.
Did you meet
know me,
KSI
guys.
too?
I did meet KSI as well. I met all the Sidemen.
Oh my god!
Can we get him on FNtasia?
Yeah, get him on
do
the
you have the
podcast, man.
contacts?
Come on.
Probably not. No.
From the screen to the.
But Ali was saying in his YouTube video, Ali was basically talking about how because a lot of like big creators got sent like a pack. Remember last year when they sent people the OG packs with like old monsters? They had something similar this year, and part of that pack they gave them pins, and basically the pins represented which seasons of OG we're gonna see. So we're not going to get an OG season with all of Chapter 2, similar to how, you know, the original OG wasn't all of the Chapter 1 seasons.
Yeah.
What we know is that OG Chapter 2 is going to have stuff from Season 1 of Chapter 2, stuff from Season 2, and stuff from Season 3. So essentially, that first season was obviously the first big one after the Black Hole event. Chapter 2, Season 2, probably, some people would probably argue the most popular or like the biggest season of Fortnite ever, right? That was the Midas season with all of the mythics and stuff. And then Chapter 2, Season 3 was the underwater, we can swim, the sharks and shit now, all that stuff.
The best.
Where the map was flooded, which for some people as well might be a personal favorite as well. So those are the only seasons we're sort of going to get. Fortnite Remix is reportedly going to be a month long, so like 4 weeks. So 3 seasons within those 4 weeks sort of makes sense, it lines up a bit. I guess we'll start with that, guys. Are you happy about that being the 3 seasons we're getting back?
See,
I'm very happy. I think like I know that there are other enjoyable seasons, like Sand Season is a personal favorite. I love Sand Season. That was a lot of fun. But in general, for most people, I think it's best for them to have the seasons which were closest to Chapter 1. You know, it's no surprise that after Chapter 1, the viewership and player base was going down and down and down. So a lot of people probably didn't even play Season 5, 6, 7, 8 of Chapter 2, right? So going back to those is good. And speaking to people, a lot of people, surprisingly, I completely forgot about it. Loads of people loved the water season. Like, loads of people really enjoyed the water season, and the map changing constantly every single week, right? So I think in general, I'm happy with the seasons. I think we'll get the OG. We'll get the best landing spots from that chapter, and I think it'll be hopefully, if the tournaments are good, it'll be a lot of fun to play.
See, I disagree with the fact that we'll get the best maps and jobs from the chapter, because that's not what happened in OG Chapter 1. OG Chapter 1 for me was fraudulent, right? Like, we're going back to OG, and then like, okay, the map's changing every week. Well, it did, and then 1 week there was literally just there's like a fucking meteorite in the sky, and then we didn't even get Happy Hamlet back, right? So like for me, a lot of the time, or like last time, it felt like OG felt like very lazy. Like it felt like, hey, we're just going to do a month of OG. We're going to get that hype back. We're not really going to do too much with it. And then just sort of like half-assed brought some shit back. Seems like this time with the success of OG Chapter 1, I guess they're doing a lot more effort into it, potentially, like marketing-wise. It looks like it's a lot more. I do hope they do actually make the map changes. We talked about this last week, that map changes make for fun things. If it is literally a different map every single week, hell yeah. But if it's just like one POI getting unlocked, or, you know, like in Chapter 1, the ice got melted and we'd even have Taco Time back. I know Levin was sad about that one, but hopefully they have the changes there. If they don't, then it's a little bit disappointing. And also, they just cut it off right before Stoic season. I think a lot of people are disappointed for Chapter 2 Season 4, right? That was Stoic.
Yeah.
So I thought with the Marvel licensing that they had this season, that they probably would have brought it back. It was like the most obvious thing, but I guess no Stoic Island, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember when they announced the whole deal with Disney, that was one of the first things people said. They were like, oh, well, that means for OG, we could actually get like that Chapter 2 Season 4 brought back because they must have licensing and whatnot. I'm sure someone from Epic League will be like, Levin, it's way more complicated than that. To be fair, I think in terms of season selection, they probably chose like the right seasons in terms of just like popularity of the game. Like, I know for most of us, we think of OG, like the original OG, as like the prime and peak of Fortnite. It probably was, but I also think people forget how massive the early Chapter 2 was. Because if anything, I'm sure numbers wise, you could probably make a case that was a prime, because that was when like lockdown was in full force, so everybody was at home playing games. Like at that point during like early Chapter 2, like Chapter 2 Season 2, I think probably is like the most popular season of Fortnite. If I was to just think off the top of my dome of like you know, maybe not as much commercially after chapter 1, but yeah, like those are like good seasons of Fortnite to sort of go back to, where a lot of people will have fond memories. You know, Boop, you mentioned there like the whole putting in more marketing effort. I think they probably have to, just because we talked about all throughout the year of like, is the effect of OG gonna wear off? Like the initial novelty of bringing back OG, that's the marketing. You don't need to do any marketing. The marketing is done already by just doing that. But now, you know, to try entice more people in, it seems like they're adding more of a twist this time, because last time it was just like OG, right? We're just bringing back the old stuff. You know, we're not going to say much more. This time they've added like the whole remix aspect of it, right? They said in the tweet, remix, Quartz has got some pictures up here. They sent a bunch of, in the pack, they sent people like remixy stuff, mixtapes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I started thinking like, how does this play into things? Because obviously it's called remix. Remix is linked to music. They're sending people things to do music. I thought, are we getting like one of those like creative bullshits again? Like, you know, like the are we gonna get the what's the mode called? That people
the Guitar Hero clone, you mean?
Yeah, the Guitar Hero. Why do I not remember the name of it?
Yeah.
You probably have said it on the broadcast, haven't you? Surely you did.
Definitely. I've not said that.
I mean, there was a tournament at Globals, literally, that was like a 50K tournament for it.
Wait, why can none of us remember the name of the mode?
Hold on, I'm in game. It's called, where is it? Fortnite Festival.
What a complicated name.
Festival, yeah.
Don't ask the player count of it. Do not ask for the player count of it. I'm pretty sure Boop's 1v1 island map has got more, so I think
Okay, yeah, well, are they gonna like have some like big festival activation as a result of it, if they're like working in music into it? I don't know what's gonna happen.
The problem I have, I think like all Fortnite OG needs to be is just simple and work. That's all it has to do. It doesn't have to do anything different. It doesn't have to add, like, the remixing gets me more worried than excited. It doesn't make me go, I can't wait to see what they change. It's like, there's a lot that could go wrong. You know, we had, and as you said chapter 1 was fraudulent, OG was fraudulent, right? The reason I think it's fraudulent is because none of the tournaments were. Like, literally, the tournaments were just a mess, to be honest, and I think that's fair to say, whatever you think about it or not. Like, I know the casual loved it, and it got so many people back into the game. The amount of people I talked to who are like, I got back into competitive because of OG season. I got back playing the game because of OG season. Mm-hmm. I just hope that people who are coming back to the game don't get disheartened or dissuaded because the tournaments don't work or they break a lot, right? And I think for the actual what they're going to do to change, I don't know what you can really change unless they're going to add new POIs or something like that. But then it's not chapter 2.
Well, it's weird because it said in the tweet, they said remix comes with a tuneful twist. So like, and they added the music emoji. So clearly there's going to be music involved somehow. Yeah. We don't really know how. When I first saw the remix thing, before I saw like the specific music aspect of it, a lot of like the battle pass skins and stuff that has been leaked are like skins that are like remixes of other skins. So it's like the Midas skin. Yeah, like the Midas skin is now Midas, but he has like the Meowscles head. Like he's like a cat, you know? So I'm like, they remixed the skin. So are we going to see that with like POI? Are they going to remix certain POI? So it's not actually going to even be like the OG POI, but it might be like a remix of the OG POI, and they add because you know they love adding music and POIs and shit. So like, you know what I mean? Is it gonna be like the fucking, I don't know, the agency, and it's like the music agency, and it's just bumping fucking, you know?
You might have Grotto in chapter 3.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, is this what they are remixing? It's got the map's got a tuneful twist, like.
Where Queez was on Fortnite Radio, you'd have that on whilst you're looting the
times have changed. Well, you might have cooked there. Hold on. What if the only remix they do is just the radio in the agency POI instead of the annoying music? It's now remixed by Marshmello or something. I don't know.
Like, I'm cooking here. I'm cooking.
They could add the like guitar. I was thinking because we had the guitar item in pubs. If you remember the what was it last season? Or was it this season?
Is it the one where it like made you like go like crazy?
Yes. Like I wonder if there's any of those items which are in chapter 2 or chapter 3, which I can't think of at the moment. But I don't know.
Was that
Boombox,
chapter 2?
Yeah. That was late chapter 1, I think. But there's going to be stuff like that in it. I think in one of the pins it was a boombox as well. If we bring back the pins up, I'm pretty sure one of those was a boombox. So maybe you're cooking with that as well. But it's interesting. I don't know if I'm. Yeah, it is. Look, you can
Yeah,
see
one of them
up
is
here.
a boombox.
Or just a stereo.
Yeah.
You know?
And the boogie bombs are there, and you can see.
Oh
like,
no, ref's going.
Yeah, it's
Rest God catches Jays.
yeah. I mean, I'm interested. I'm interested. I think the one thing, yeah, as I said, it's just got to still feel like chapter 2. I don't want them to change too much, and it just is like, oh, this might as well just be a whole new chapter. It's still just got to be chapter 2.
Now, in fear of not pissing off our casual audience, I feel like we don't. I have to see it before like I'm gonna make judgment on it, right? Like, oh, you Fortnite people, analysis people, you like to complain about everything. But one of the fears I do have when you with what you said is that if it isn't the same feeling as OG Chapter 2 and it is a remixed version of it, I think for a lot of those people that are coming back, they're also going to have a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. I feel like it could be quite dangerous for Epic to fully change it up or remix POIs or remix the map, because then those people are going to be like, well,
all right, look, we just had a technical difficulty, right? Everything froze. But while we were fixing the technical difficulty, Fortnite just tweeted the more info or the additional trailer that we were just talking about right now. So let's get that up and take a look at it. Do we have the are we showing the Hypex one or the original one? Which one are we showing? Let's just get it up. Okay, we're gonna show the Hypex. Essentially, Fortnite tweeted a video which was like rewinded in this whole remix gimmick. But Hypex thankfully rewinded it. Rewind? I don't know.
Rewound is what rewound?
They rewound it, and essentially this is the video. Then we can see what we were sort of talking about, where some of the skins are remixed. The song is like some, I can't. What is
some Fortnite rap?
Some rap. It sounded good to me. I can't lie. It sounded kind of good. It sounds kind of good if I'm being honest. But yeah, we're slowly but surely getting more. It was interesting because in this video, like, are they adding new mechanics? Like, brother just got slapped.
Yeah, you get slapped.
With the guitar or some shit.
It's like you just got hit with a stick. You can see it like if you go to the Steamy, if you go to the
that's a pool cue.
It's like a pool cue. Yeah.
Bang.
It's like you can pick up an item and swing with it. Like if you go to where it's Steamy Stacks, if you go to Steamy Stacks, I think he's holding it in the background. You can see it there. He's holding it in the background. So I wonder if that's something you can like pick up and hit people with, or if it's just a pickaxe. But it's still cool.
Maybe they're remixing mechanics.
Yeah, so all of these skins are like skins that have just been remixed,
They actually look clean. They all look
they look good.
I mean, they look a bit freaky, I can't lie. There's definitely something in there. I don't know.
Well, to add to sort of what you were getting onto, Boop, of like, is there potential for them to leave a sour taste in the mouths of people? I think one thing that's becoming clearer to me as we get more and more info about this is that last year was Fortnite OG, and the whole point of it was very much you're getting that feeling of the olds, right? Like, so for people coming back, it was like you came in and it was very much, even though there was complaints to be had about OG, whether it be tournaments or actually just playing pubs and people running away endlessly. There was things to complain about, map changes not being enough. But the one thing that was spot on was that when you jumped in, we got OG. Like it was like transporting back to chapter 1 and getting a chance to play it again. It doesn't feel like they're advertising that as much as part of like this year, right? Like they're very much being intentional about, no, this is not Fortnite OG, this is Fortnite remix. Like again, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that come back expecting, okay, we're just going to get the same thing, but with chapter 2 now, it's OG. I'm supposed to get that OG feeling. And from what we're seeing, if they're adding like new mechanics, like being able to slap people or something, I don't mind that. Like that sounds cool. I'm sure I'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
But it's not OG, which I think a lot of people will be expecting. So it'll be interesting to see where on that line they sort of balance themselves of, is this really something that feels like original chapter 2, or is this original chapter 2 with like a new flavor and a new twist, which feels like more of what they're saying it's going to be?
It's also, they could also shoot themselves in the foot here, right? Like, if this is the gimmick of OG coming back, now, they're probably going to make OG Chapter 3, not that Chapter 2 really feels OG anymore, but like in a year, like that's probably the next logical move, right? At that point, people are going to be like, well, yeah, it's not going to be the same anymore, so I'm just not going to bother coming back to the game at that point. So, it could be a little bit dangerous. Hands in the air. It remains to be seen. For the people that like Fortnite right now, it'll probably be very good, very fun. Whether it's the savior of Fortnite that we always keep talking about, like OG was in terms of viewership and competitive and everything else, that one is a little bit scary because it does feel like a lot of the time OG is what's being used to revive Fortnite every single year. And if that doesn't work after 1 year, then what does the future hold of like the game, right? In that sense, so.
It does. But does Fortnite need a savior right now?
I don't. I don't think it needs. Yeah,
we're talking about, and from a competitive standpoint, obviously, I know we're talking casually, right? But the Globals was the best viewership we've had in the tournament since World Cup.
This year, competitive was the best viewership we've had in a year since like 2019.
Well, exactly. So I don't know if we need a savior. I wonder if this is just them going to be doing this sort of stuff just as like a side project for a month that will be fun for people to play, and it's something different which might get some new people in or old people back into the game. It might just be a nice break from what everyone else has played, and in general, I just think there's no real harm in doing it. Do I think that the original OG was perfect? No, but I think there's no harm in doing it because clearly this is the way they want to do it. They want to have 4 seasons, a month break, and then December always is going to be the new chapter. This feels like this is their new structure they're going to do, right? And even if the reason they did it was because of timings and they didn't want certain seasons to be too long and they just had a month spare, doing OG is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It will get people into the game. And personally for me, Chapter 2 was my favorite chapter. And even if they do Chapter 3 or if they do other seasons in Chapter 2, right? You got to remember that between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, there was 19 seasons? There's so much they can do with it. It's not like they're going to ever run out when you've got 1 month. Technical difficulties again. But back to my point, they're like OG they can do for as long as they like, really. I don't think it'll ever get to a point, because even, let's say, for example, by Chapter 9 or whatever, that far down the line, they can do OG Chapter 4 and people will still play. Yeah. I know, but
Chapter 5 Nitro OG, oh baby, hell yeah,
hell yeah. Anyway, a few technical difficulties, you can blame our producer Quartz.
This is all his fault.
Yeah, it's all his fault, no one else's. But yeah, long story short, Fortnite can do OG for as long as they want. I don't think we're going to ever run into a problem where Fortnite's really going to run out of problems. And if it's just a fun little thing they do for a month every year, that's fine. If it's bigger than that and they want to make it bigger than that, which is what it looks like with all the marketing and everything, that's also fine. I just see no downside to doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I also think it's like I think as a community, sometimes we get into this whole thing where it's like, yeah, man, but like, Fortnite, we don't want Fortnite to die, blah, 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 blah. I think, and maybe I'm arrogant in saying this, but Fortnite's like hit its maturity as a game. Like Fortnite's now like Minecraft or Roblox or or COD or like other games where like it's never really gonna die. It might have dips, like Minecraft right now isn't the most popular game in the mainstream, but they still have a consistently good amount of people playing that, right? And Fortnite, I think, is the same, right? We might not always be as mainstream as like when we had OG or the actual Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, whatever. But there's still going to be a bunch of people, playing and watching. And I think if they can do things like this to just add little spikes to the interest of the game, then I think they're going to keep doing that. Whether it's going to be as big as OG was, I don't think it can ever be, and I don't think we should even like, that shouldn't be like the aspiration or like the goal, right? Yeah. It's like when we had the Black Hole event and everyone was like, can they ever have an event like that again? And it was like, well, no. like obviously no. Like,
that shit was overhyped. It was literally a black hole.
But like the interest and the excitement it created was like the biggest event in any game
newsworthy
ever.
Anyways,
right? So it's like, but they can never replicate that again. I think like the key with like marketing, right? Because all of this is just marketing. The key with good marketing campaigns is that like, you're not trying to replicate the old marketing campaign you had success with. You're trying to make a new marketing campaign that's going to generate interest and talk and whatever. So it's like, they will find, and what we've learned from Fortnite is they have some of the best marketing people there is, because they consistently, year after year, have managed to create hype and excitement. So I don't worry too much in that respect. Like, I think Fortnite is going to be good. I think this will add a boost and injection of players. I think I agree with both of you in that, like, one thing that they have to get right this year that they didn't get last year is tournaments. Because if we can convert more people into competitive fans during OG or during Remix this year, it will do wonders for us going into the next chapter. So I'm not too worried about Fortnite in that sense. One thing that was really interesting though about the the whole build up and lead up to OG was the Fortnite comp account tweeted a clip of Aqua from chapter 2, winning the game of solos.
Yeah.
Which again, are we gonna get some big solo competitions during Fortnite Remix? Is Aqua, we just did some cooking. Is Aqua gonna be the new radio?
Yeah.
Is this why?
This is Aqua Radio.
It's Aqua Radio, mate. They got Aqua to give us a World Cup throwback radio station during OG. Is Aqua gonna be at like the fucking? Is he gonna have his POI and he's the radio at that POI base over there? Clearly, there's something going on here that we can read into.
I think, because obviously, if we go back to the start of this year and we're thinking about leaks at the start of this year, I think everyone saw the FNCS Chaos, which got leaked, and everyone talked about what's FNCS Chaos going to be. And is there an easier game mode to have a 1 month big tournament than solos? Literally, you can just run that very easily. You can do very simple. You don't have to worry about finding teammates or anything like that. It's just you need to find your own time to play it and compete in it. And for me, I've been a massive advocate that I miss so much solo competition. Right, Solo Victory Cups is one of the best things Fortnite have added. Not for the basis that I enjoy it, but for the basis that it creates so many long-lasting competitive players because everyone feels like they can earn. Right? And that's the thing that makes people want to keep competing. That's why maybe towards the end of Chapter 2, beginning of Chapter 3, people didn't enjoy competitive as much or not as many new people getting into it. Because even though at the high end, it was better tournament-wise for competitive players, for the best players, it wasn't very good for new players getting into the game, right? You didn't feel like as a new player you could really compete or win money or even get to heats or anything like that, right? So I think definitely that that's all it's good with Victory Cups, but DreamHacks Online, DreamHacks in person, Solo Cash Cup finals, Solo FNCSs, I miss them all. I miss just being able to watch top solos, seeing the solo clutch, just the Benji Fishy solo clutch where you got 8 kills off the hill, off the waterfall by was it by Lazy Links? Is that Lazy Lake or Lazy Leak? I think to me that's what I miss is those sort of crazy moments. Yes, solo is maybe not the best viewer experience all the time, but I think there's nothing better than winning a game in solos. I think it's such a insane feeling, or having a pop-off moment in solos. I think it's an insane moment. I just think getting solo competition back, or even just for a month, because I don't think we should have a full season of solos, 3 months, and I don't think we'd have a year of solos. But either once a month tournament, or for example this month entirely with solos, I'd be happy with it.
There's nothing better than winning a game of solos. I don't think Harry can relate to that one.
I can't relate to that one. I can't.
And so I actually had a question. Is Aqua synonymous to you with Chapter 2, or is there another player that's synonymous to Chapter 2
There's
for you?
so many other
There's
players
so many
that are more synonymous.
Yeah.
Aqua is synonymous. Aqua is synonymous with Chapter 2 for me, to be honest.
World Cup,
right? Because obviously World Cup, and he did well in trios, right? And then duos. So Aqua is synonymous with Chapter 2, but there's some other players that come to mind before Aqua when you think of Chapter 2 Fortnite.
I wonder if, because I think we all have the same EU player at the top of my mind when you think of Chapter 2, which Tayson. Tayson obviously is with Chapter 2, right?
I actually, that wasn't the player I was thinking
You don't have Tayson in the top.
I had Tayson in the back of my mind.
Tayson was in the back of my mind, but there was a different player that came to mind.
I wonder, because obviously with the solos, also if you think about solos as well, Tayson obviously winning a solo FNCS, right? It's with him getting banned. Do you think that was maybe a problem with the whole?
That's what I was going to, right? Because he literally tweeted out this week, oh my god, all these people playing with hackers, and I got banned for fucking pretending like I was hacking. So it was actually interesting. Yeah. Now I do have a bit of inside information, and this isn't coming from anywhere else, but I had a few people message me on Twitter from Epic side of things, yo, can you get us in contact with Aqua? He's not responding to our DMs. I was like, oh, that's weird.
I remember that. Yeah, and, people wanted to know about Aqua.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, that's very weird, but sure, I guess this is why. I do feel like you were slightly overcooking with oh my god, solo chaos. What I feel like it's more likely is that we had all this OG tournaments with content creators in Chapter 1. We had a Mars tournament, or whatever brother tournament, I forgot the names. I feel like we're going to get dappled with pro players. It makes sense. It's going to be Aqua's solo cash cup, and then I mean, I don't think it's gonna be Tayson. I think Tayson's
No, it
fucking
wouldn't
done
be
it for
Tayson.
Yeah,
Epic
the bridge has
Games.
been burned.
Yeah.
Fucking
So it'll
blown
be
up.
like Giannis's trio cash cup because he was very good in trios. Who's your playing you're thinking of, Levin? I'm actually curious.
When I think of Chapter 2 Fortnite and EU, I think of Benji Fishy, I'll be honest.
Ooh, yeah.
That's like the first name that comes to my mind.
Is it bad that one of the first ones is Arkram for me? Back even though NOS
Nah, that's a
Ark.
cook. No, I respect
Yeah.
that, man. I respect that. Arkram,
I mean,
for
that's
sure.
that. They'll need NA players for the NA tournaments, right? They'll need one for
No.
every region, so there's likelihood. I mean, I saw they sponsored Benji to come back for OG Chapter 1, didn't they? They literally paid him. I remember there was a
Did they?
stream.
He
Yeah,
did
I
a
remember-
stream, yeah.
Yeah.
He did a stream with Savage and Mongo, and there was like hashtag ad in his title, so they literally paid him to come back. So
they might have,
I feel
yeah.
like that's very likely. We'll have a Benji Fishy solo tournament or something, right? Like, I think that's more likely than the big FNCS. Also, for like logistics wise, 4 weeks is very unlikely for that to happen. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. So yeah, like a lot of those tournaments, I think will be like not as interesting. They'll probably just be reskin solo cash cups or trio cash cups,
Yeah.
but with their names. But you know, it'd be cool.
It'll be cool
Maybe
still, yeah.
the price will be slightly different potentially, but I don't think they would have reinvented the wheel for this. I'll be honest.
I doubt they would, yeah. And I don't think you need to. You just need to have tournaments that work, that are exciting, that are accessible, you know? There's going to be so many people playing. If you use some of the hype of those OG players, like if there was like a Benji Fishy Cup, I think that'd be sick. Like people would be excited for that. Especially if they were like, and they paid him to do a stream playing his own cup, like that'd be sick.
Just invite him to the finals
Right?
instantly too. Yeah,
Imagine, oh, even better.
That would be sick.
Even better. Yeah, no. I'm excited for Remix. Hopefully, obviously, by the time we do this next episode, Remix will be out. So we'll have all the juice and break down everything from that, you know, when that comes. But
final thing I want to say is prediction. Do you think Remix will be better or worse than original OG?
From what POV? Because OG.
No. From maybe
just my own personal experience of it.
Bring your own personal experience, enjoyment, competitive, whatever your opinion is. Not just like how many players get back into the game. Like your personal opinion.
I think I don't think I'll enjoy this. I really had fun. OG got me because before OG I hadn't been playing Fortnite for a bit, and OG really got me back into playing. Some of my old mates started playing. I literally spent OG just playing with some of my old friends for ages, and I don't think that's going to happen again. So I'd say I'll probably enjoy it less from that perspective.
See, there's a weird thing that happened with OG from like my standpoint and a lot of content creator standpoints is that the top content creators fucking printed. They went crazy. But if you weren't like the top 10 content creators, it was actually some of the worst viewership I had in like a long time for OG. Probably because everyone was playing it, right? And I saw it with other streamers too, and Fortnite streaming, like comp streamers. Like if your name wasn't Savage, Mongo, Ninja, Cypher PK, then your viewers didn't like double or triple. So in that sense, I'm slightly worried because I'm just like, okay, is that going to be the same sort of effect? But in the terms of like the content and like what it's going to provide, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a lot better than OG because OG was miserable to watch, considering the formats and everything as well. So, and there's no reason. And OG Chapter 2 had good formats. I don't think they had the 1 point per first to third and then 4 to 7 bullshit. So that aspect, you know, as long as the tournaments are good and the prize room's good, and something to watch, I'm down. And from the things I've heard,
it's interesting because like one thing when I was doing prepping that top 5 game, like I went back and looked at some like, you know, streamer numbers in Fortnite. Yeah, like it's interesting because obviously Fortnite is like the game that gets streamed the most. Like it has the most amount of people streaming. Like if you see like the total hours streamed from all games, like Fortnite has like the most by quite a significant margin because there's so many people streaming it. Doesn't have the most viewers, right? Like there's other categories on Twitch that get more viewers than Fortnite, but so many people stream it, and like I can only imagine that grows up even more. And so, like, when you're there talking about, obviously, again, when you're the top guys, you're farming, right? Because there's more viewers available, but there's less viewers for everyone, if you understand, because there's
trickle
more.
Down doesn't work,
Exactly. The viewer ratio goes down. There's more, you know, streamers than viewers. Well, not more, but, you know, similar amount. It's interesting, though, because I think regardless of, like, what happens, you know, to answer your question, Harry, like, I think I will have fun and I'll enjoy OG. But yeah, like comparing it to last year's one, I feel like from my personal experience and the way I interact with the game, last year probably will feel more fun for me. But I think I'll still have fun with Remix.
Okay. For me personally, I think I'll have more fun in this chapter, this remix for sure. I feel like I'm on the same wavelength of Boop with it, where it wasn't OG just wasn't that enjoyable. And it's not like I'm saying it was a bad thing for them to have, because obviously, as I said, I think it was one of the best things Epic have added. For me personally, I did not enjoy it, and I think that's the difference between playing versus watching. Watching it and seeing all the tournaments and everything just wasn't enjoyable. But from a playing standpoint, you enjoyed it loads, right?
Yeah, but that's why I wanted you to even clarify more, because I enjoyed it, but by the end of it, it got annoying, like playing it, because we didn't have as many changes. Like, I played the hell out of it the first couple of weeks. By the last week, I was a bit like, oh, there's not been much changes to the map. I'm running around people, I'm rifting infinitely. Like, it did get a bit, towards the end a bit stale. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
There was also the season where Epic thought it was a good idea to shove Zero Build down our throats in tournaments. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like, oh yeah, Zero Build's the future. That was when they thought Zero Build was the future of the game. Now they were obviously very wrong about it, but hopefully that was one of the changes that they do add to Chapter 2, is that they don't have such a focus on Zero Build tournaments in this type of map. Because that map's also bad for Zero Build, from what I remember. Like, big mountain, stuff like that. It doesn't really work for it, so.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we'll keep you updated with Remix as we know more next week and it's out. In terms of the remainder of this season though, and what we have left, obviously trios, we've seen, the trio cash cut happen last week. I said I didn't watch it because I've been on holiday and I just got back yesterday. But I saw some of the results from it and things looked interesting across EU and NA. On the EU side of things, we saw some players who haven't really been doing too well, maybe starting to finally figure things out and start to do a bit better, right? Teeny finally had his, first sort of decent placement, obviously playing with Chicho and Altmo. Seti, Cammy, and Chari finally placing well, right? Seti and Cammy been struggling a bit so far in trios, so it was good to see some of these guys finally start to, I guess, figure things out, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I think for sure when it comes to Teeny, because, we're obviously, we changed from duos and trios, and the biggest worry is, are there going to be players who don't perform as well, right? Obviously, trios, you need much more coordination, you have much more teamwork, and when you've seen players who are so successful in duos not make the transition to trios fluidly, you're always worried of, like, what might happen, And it's good to see that was just a couple of bad weeks, trying to figure out how it is to play trios, and it's not obviously never going to say washed or anything like that, but to see them perform come second place, even with a much worse player on paper in Automo, right? They played with Trulex for a week, they played with Wox, who won the Kashka with Ping and Malabuka for a week, and they didn't qualify or even do well. And then they play with someone who's much worse in Automo, and they come second. So it's really good to see, and hopefully Chicho and Teeny, who are looking to play together, it looks like for the rest of trios, hopefully this is the start of them performing at the level we know they can.
I feel like it doesn't really mean shit. I'll be honest. Like, it doesn't really matter at all. Because, like, if we're being honest, yes, there's a massive discrepancy between these three, right? Is Chicho and Teeny really going to say, yes, we're committing a trio season with Otmo now? I don't think I can see it. I think knowing those players and knowing Teeny as a player as well, I think he knows and feels he's a lot better than someone like Otmo. I know Otmo's a very good player, very good. He's like the Balkan fucking Booga of like creative. He's like very good at creative. But like I don't think that's gonna be the trio. I don't expect this trio to ever split, to ever stick together. In my opinion, one good week, especially considering this format of trio cash cups, we're seeing a lot of different things. We're seeing a lot of good trios as well, in theory, completely dudding, right? Like Veno, Queasy, Pixie. So I'm not too worried, and I think a lot of the players are also not too worried by the lack of people splitting or changing up trios so far. So it's a good placement for them. I'm happy for them, but I don't think it really means much.
No, it doesn't mean the most, but I was more saying, like, it's good, because I don't think if Teeny and Chicho go the whole of this trios without one placement, that's a different conversation. That's a conversation that people have going into OG, going into Chapter 6, and maybe, I don't know how much players would take into consideration, maybe give some worse options than they possibly could be getting, and maybe they don't even stick together, Chicho and Teeny, if it's not working. So just getting that one placement, even if almost not the third piece of the puzzle, right? It's still good to get that placement to go, you know what? Like, it's not like our ideas of how to play and ideas of what we're doing is completely wrong.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that's interesting, of course, you mentioned there, Boop, like people not worrying I think when we start to go over to NA though, there's a big conversation where people might have to start worrying because Peterbot, Cold, and Booga absolutely done it. They did not even qualify for the finals of last week's Trio Cash Cup, which, again, it's Peterbot, Cold, and Booga. That is inexcusable. There's no way that can happen. 200 plays they played in round one. And I mean, again, very close to being able to qualify still, but they shouldn't be a team that's getting close.
No.
Yeah.
If you think about, Peterbot and even at least Peterbot and Cold, when have they ever struggled in opens? Ever. Or even, when have any of these players struggled in opens ever? And to not even get top 600 players, that's the same equivalent. It's like, that's an insane situation they're in. Like, and, we talk about placements not mattering, and as you said, and as you were touching on 11, it's like, is this, as when you're Cold and Peterbot, we know Peterbot's someone who's down to make decisions which not a lot of people agree with. Is he just going to go, okay, Booga, we've had the trial, because, we already talked about how Peterbot wasn't, like, so set on Booga. It's like, we're trying out all the best harpers in NA. Is this the end of the Booga experiment? Is this is enough? We've tried him. Let's try out some other players, because it's obvious. If Peterbot and Cold, if they ask a player, they're going to get to play with them. So they can ask basically anyone in NA.
This isn't the Booga experiment, it's the Booga dictatorship. You're not leaving Booga, brother. He's staying there, and you're keeping him. He's not splitting. He's got you by the neck here. I feel like this the context is quite important when we're looking at the match history, right? They had a 50 kill win, 40 kill third, 22 kill 11th, 18 kill 18th, 13 kill 15th, and 19 kill 16th, and then 5 kill 25th and a 14th with 6 eliminations. So like, I feel like this is more of a Fortnite kid being fucking stupid and just not playing format, right? Like, they had 173 kills in 10 games. Sorry, not in 10 games, in 8 games. 173 kills. Yeah. And it's 1 point per elimination in this format. So, yes, they should have qualified easily, but at the same time, it's just Fortnite players just being stupid and just trying to WK every single game. Is it worrying, though, when on the other side of the spectrum, Brother Pollo, the man that got dropped, ended up winning that Cash Cup? There's a lot to be said there,
Uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, I'd be scared.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it, didn't we, about the whole, after the Booga incident, is that going to affect the dynamics? Is that going to affect anything when it comes to, I think it affected when it comes to the vibes. Am I right in saying, because obviously there was the Cash Cup that was cancelled, this is the first Trio Cash Cup they've played since that incident, since the whole Booga incident? Or is there one, maybe?
They've definitely played more, because that was at the beginning of Trios, yeah.
That
was at the beginning of Trios, sure, so.
Yeah. But still, I don't know. This isn't I don't think this is going to be the last tournament they dud or have a bad experience in. Because also, we have to keep in mind, I'm not going to say they're going to dud overall, because I think they're one of the best trios, but...
Why do you think they're going to dud, Harry? Why specifically, or who specifically do you think is the reason why they're going to dud?
Because if you think about where Epic is going with points formats, they're going to go 1 point a kill with most points formats, unless you get to finals. So... Okay. Don't try and catch me out. But you put the reel out there. You put the little.
I thought it was coming.
No bite. But no, I just think when you're Peterbot Cold, you can ask any player in NA. Why are they not just going around and asking? If they even, I know we had the whole incident of Booga's going to grief you, yada yada yada. At the end of the day, they can.
Even, sorry, I was just going to say, even with that, like that whole dynamic. I think we also on the pod sort of came to the conclusion that a big part of that was the sort of like Veno aspect of it.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, I feel the fact that like Veno as an option maybe has cooled off. I feel like if they did try and drop Booga, it wouldn't be like, that wouldn't happen again. I feel like he wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to just grieve my... And even that aspect of it was a bit like, sure, mate, like... Maybe the first couple tournaments he tries something, but like realistically next year FNTS finals it's just I don't see that happening. I don't know. I think they should just try. The tough thing is at the end of the day, like you said, Harry, those two can ask anybody and realistically get whoever they want to try out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On NA, the options are really tough. A lot of people have started to lock in and feel more comfortable in who they're playing with. And when you look at the list of names in NA, right, of players for potential trios, there's like a good 20 players, right? There's a good pool of like 20, and then like the drop after is insane. Like the drop in the quality of players in terms of if you're trying to build a team that can compete for an FNCS or a team that can like qualify for globals in a world where like global slots might only be 2 or 3 a season, right? Like it gets really, really rough in NA after that like initial 20. And for Booga, if he was to get dropped now by Peterbot and Cold, it's going to be hard for him to steal away people who've already started to solidify in players, and then on top of that, like find other people. Like again, he's Booga at the end of the day, and as much as we like meme him on this pod, I'm sure he'd be able to get like a decent trio still, right? Yeah. But to go from Peterbot and Cold, where you could potentially win everything, to whoever he ends up playing with, it's just, you know, it's going to be a significant downgrade that he's probably just doesn't really want to do. But unfortunately, I just think he has to do it for himself. Like, I had a conversation with a pro, and, you know, we basically were like, if we're Booga, you drop Peterbot and Cold, because, like, you're just going to get dropped at the most inconvenient time. Realistically, they might keep playing with him even after this done. They might keep being like, "Yeah, we'll fix things. Don't worry, Booga, man. We're good. We'll just keep playing, man. We'll figure it out." Day before FNCS,
Venom's been hiding in the closet the whole time.
You know what I mean? Like, so for his own good, it's probably better for him to just drop them. As crazy as that might sound as an idea, and people going, "Why would you ever? Are you stupid, Levin? Even if there's a chance to play them." But again, it's Booga we're talking about here. Like, he might not be the same Booga of 2019, but he can still probably get a decent trio, and it'd probably just be better for his overall situation, stability wise, if he just tried to find someone else to play with.
But it's how much you believe in yourself, you know, like, sort of thing. Because it's like, if Booga, like, when I say it like that, it's like Booga, as you said, whoever he decides to play with, who isn't Peterbot and Cold, your percentage chance of winning an FNCS or a global championships or whatever, it drops drastically. Do you genuinely believe in yourself enough that we've had one dud tour, whatever, I can be the best and they will want to play with me? And if you're Booga, I think that's probably, I probably would disagree. I think that's worth for Booga to not drop them, but it's like, it's worth the risk for him to take, because he's already got, like, money's not a problem situation for Booga, right? It's a sort of, he wants to win FNCSs, he wants to win the global championship. Who's he going to get who's even going to be close to that, right? So it's not worth for him to take that risk. If you were a slightly worse player, maybe who hadn't made themselves, yeah, I could see that sort of scenario. But with Booga, who's already kind of set, you know, I think, why wouldn't you keep that risk? But when I think about it from Cold and Peterbot's perspective, you want to start trying out with people and disrupt other trees before they get set in stone. Because that's the worst thing that can happen, is you leave it a month, 2 months, is a week, or like 2-3 weeks before FNCS, and everyone's like, it's such a big risk, even though Peterbot and Cold are Peterbot and Cold, a lot of people might start to say no.
I mean, if you're Bolt, I mean, the one that was obvious was Bolts, right? Or like Poyo again. Like, after winning another Trio Cash Cup now, and, like, you know, the momentum's looking up, are you going back? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it gets harder and harder by the day, right? I agree with Levin in the fact that if we're being completely logical, and this isn't like us baiting on Booga, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're queuing up with Booga FNCS day one, right? Unless Peterbot is actually that convinced that there's a chance here. But when you're used to doing so well, and then the puzzle pieces don't fit together instantly, I feel like from their perspective, they just, you know, like, they want to search for something. They have the blank check essentially right now. After a season, shit, you know, like we mentioned before, aura goes quick.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't ever going to think that Peterbot and Cold are shit, but they're going to think, yeah, but, like, it didn't work out with Booga, so, like, why the hell would I swap with my trio at this point? So, it's a dangerous game that they're playing, if this continues. Now, I think this not qualification isn't that big of a deal, because, again, they didn't play the format. They're just playing, like, Super Fortnite kids. So, like, if they actually, quote-unquote, tried in that sense, I think it will be a lot different, but it is planting the seed of doubt, which I think is a dangerous seed to grow in that sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
No, I agree with a lot of what both of you guys are saying there. I think it'll be interesting to see sort of what happens for those guys moving forward, because obviously Peterbot played with Bolts and they won, and like in terms of form, those two are like the two best players in NA right now. Like, I'm not necessarily pushing the belt out and saying Bolts is better than Cole just because of like a good run that he's had, but like form wise, right now you'd say Bolts is just primed, on top of the world, right? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm sure we'll see some head turned. Before we get on to the most important part of the show, I saw some crazy shit this week, guys, and I know you guys saw it as well. For the non-American viewers here, things are ramping up in the political world of America.
USA.
And, obviously, they're gearing up for an election. Both, sides are doing their best to campaign and get the vote out there. And apparently, Kamala Harris and her team, I'd studied politics. You never know, right, from the way I'm talking about this. They decided the best way to continue to campaign for Kamala would be to drop a Fortnite map.
Hell yeah.
Wait till they find out that Fortnite kids aren't 18. Let's wait.
I mean,
is the FNtasia podcast getting political here? Because there's a few political jokes to be made here.
Let's keep them off.
We are not getting political here. We're definitely not, for so many different reasons. But I just thought this was really funny because naturally everybody in the comments was like, the people playing this can't vote, lads. You know what I mean? Like you're marketing to like a younger generation of people who just can't vote, which fair enough, encourage people to vote, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the biggest thing is, I swear this just isn't allowed. Like,
no, it's against TOS.
I swear you're just not allowed to make maps that are like politically inclined in like any way.
Apparently, it's you're allowed to, but you're not allowed to have a CTA in it to go vote or something. So I guess there's nothing in there that's like says go vote, but it is funded by the Kamala Harris campaign. There's a similar situation to this that the British Army did a few months ago,
and the US Army had one as well.
The U.S. Army did have one that had actually no drama at all, surprisingly enough. So, for reference, the British Army did a campaign with a Fortnite map and a bunch of creators. I think it was like a bunch of UK content creators,
it's like young Philly and people like that.
Which
again, that's
the greatest of choices here. And they also, funnily enough, they also reached out to Noble for like a promotion in our Scrim Discord. Like, yo, we want those Scrim grinders to join the British Army. They'll be great in combat. Yeah, and they know how to follow the rules at least. So I guess the in line, yes sir. So it's interesting that was cancelled, and then like the US Army one wasn't, and then this one is getting a lot of flack. Realistically, it's just one of those things that like one person in the campaign on the Kamala Harris camp was like, you know what, guys, what will really get in touch with the kids? Fortnite. The kids fucking love Fortnite, man. And if you make a Fortnite map, they're gonna vote for us. It's stupid. It's literally the biggest boomer thing I've ever seen, right? Because someone that's like 45 years old definitely thought of this and thought, yep, this is what we're gonna do, and they didn't think it through. Should it be allowed? Probably not, because like it's why does Fortnite have to get involved in these type of things?
I'll be honest, I actually didn't even really care for it that much, the political aspect of it. It was more so what you were hinting at there towards the end, where it's like you see this a lot with like bigger brands who are trying to like get involved in these spaces. And I worked for a creative company for a bit, so I had like a lot of like meetings with brands and like pitches with brands, and so like I've seen it firsthand, like the type of people at like really big corporations and companies who are like, we just want to be, we want to reach the youth more, And the first thing I thought when I saw this, I kid you not, I didn't think about the political aspect, I didn't think about any of that. The first thing I thought was, this map just looks shit. like this doesn't even look like a good experience to play, and that's like the first thing that matters.
For
all of these brands,
red versus blue.
Like if you are like a big brand trying to get red versus blue,
red versus blue. Oh my
that might have
Republicans versus Democrats. FFA, jeez.
It's funny though, because like the first thing I remember I used to always like emphasize to any brand who you're pitching for was always just like, you just need to make like the priority should be an experience that actually people enjoy playing, and then everything else comes after that. Whereas like most of the time when you see the end products of a lot of these things, it feels like the first thought was, let's get in the game. Rather than let's make something that people will enjoy playing in the game that involves us. So yeah, just
the thing is, these maps are never successful either.
That's what I'm saying.
Most of the brand maps I've seen have been awful. Like for example, like the NASCAR map that was on broadcast, for example, like they did all the advertiser and broadcast, and it barely got any players, right? Like it got like 10 to 15 players or something. Like this map, I mean, this map probably gets a good amount of players because it's kind of memeable, but it doesn't. These Fortnite maps don't have the effect on brands that they think it does.
No.
And I just know, so the team that made this map is Muselk's company, Click Media. They made the map for them. I just know they paid so much money for this, right? Because they have no indication of how much a map like this is going to cost. I just know brother got the bag. And I saw people on Twitter trying to cancel Muselk, like, you shouldn't be getting involved in politics. It's a map. Like I don't know. I don't think it's that deep in that sense. Like,
no, and it's actually so I saw like from someone who like is deep in the creative like community, UFN community, and like he was basically just like, technically the map actually doesn't break TOS. Like the map is fine by TOS. The actual video and promotion they did does break TOS.
Yeah.
Them being like, yo, go squad up, go, whatever, that does break TOS. But the map itself technically doesn't break any TOS. It's within the guidelines. But yeah, let's see how
it's not that deep. I think it's not that deep. I think the outrage. I mean, I feel okay. I'm not going to go there.
Let's leave it here.
You're about to get mathematical, so I'm about to shut you up right now.
Stop.
Let's get on to Harry's weekly award. Harry,
we'll go there.
Take it away, buddy. Take it away, brother.
So, but we've it's been a couple of weeks since we've had the weekly award, but I've kind of gone for a bit of a different approach to it. So obviously we had someone who I thought was an insane fighter in Toyota, someone who I think is probably, in my opinion, one of the best players in the world. When you watch him, I think he's so insane. And then you have the EU duo of Pix and Demas, who are probably a bit lower level, but they're still there, and I expect them to be doing really well, and they are doing really well in Trio Cash Cups and winning Cash Cups, and they're going to take the next step, maybe tier 2. And I'm going to go a little bit lower of a level, right? And we're still going to stick with the Polish, though. We're still sticking with the Polish player. I'm going to be talking about a player called Seke. I don't know if you've heard of him. Seke, he is a player who is qualified to the past few Trio Cash Cups. He is qualified. He's actually made money in the past few Trio Cash Cups as well. Made money in the last Duo Cash Cup as well. And this is a player I've been keeping my eye on for the past couple of months. I saw him in FNCS play. He made upper bracket in last FNCS. And he's a really good player. And he's basically an IGL, and he's a really aggressive IGL, which from Poland is a rarity, to be honest, if we think about how Polish players play. And I'm really excited watching him play. It's someone who I feel like is slowly starting to improve. I think now in trios, the reason why he's starting to perform more is playing with better fighters. For a lot of the past couple of months, he's been playing with worse fighters, but better known players. Maybe Polish players he was called Vik, if you've heard of Vik. He is a old school Polish player who has 10k earnings, who kind of not enjoying the game. And I spoke to Seke about it a bit, and he just said, I couldn't get anyone better. It was the best option I could really get. And now he's playing with players who are willing to fight with him on that sort of IGLing front, and he's taken a more IGLing role. He started to get better placements. So you can see in October, his placements have been better, winning in Solar Cash Cups, winning, I think, 3 times in Solar Cash Cups in October, Trio Cash Cup back-to-back money, Duo Cash Cup money, and he's just starting to perform really well. And DJ made the tweet about it, I think, last month, where it was who's your player for 2025, who's going to pop off? And I said Seke a month ago. So that is the player who I think is going to pop off. He's an exciting player to watch. I think it's someone who you need to keep your eye on. Do I think he's going to win an FNCS or anything like that? No, that's way too much. I'm not going to go that far with the reach. I've been known to exaggerate points to the fullest. But what I will say is, don't be surprised if you see him in a couple of grand finals. Don't be surprised if you start seeing him make more finals or make money in more finals. He's a player to keep an eye on for sure.
So you're telling me we have this entire segment of Harry's meat riding corner, glazing corner, and it's meant to highlight some of the smaller players, maybe some of the smaller regions, and we've picked an EU player 2 weeks in a row What happened to the OCE viewers or the Middle East or the Japanese viewers, man?
This
was meant to be like inclusivity.
Look, there's plenty of weeks to go. You think it's a weekly award? I'm not going to run out of players. You know, there's EU, there's Asia, there's OCE, Middle East. I've got plenty of players in my back burner. I've got more ready for the next couple of weeks already, so don't you worry. But for this week's Seke, someone I wanted to talk about, someone I wanted more people to know about, and I don't be surprised if you start to see him making more finals and start to perform a lot more.
So I'm looking at his teammates' Fortnite tracker. Some of them are kind of interesting, but that's all. I'll go from there.
Yeah, no, I that is obviously a problem when you think of underrated players. Like, it's always an interesting situation, and sadly, it's a Fortnite problem. It's, you know, where how do you find underrated players when it comes to, you know, what's a cheater and what's not? So
yeah.
That all I can do is
we'll keep our eyes closed on him. That's what I'll do.
I'll just say I'm gonna I know Seke isn't obviously cheating. I know that for sure because obviously I've been watching him for a while, so I can vouch he's not cheating. But obviously can't speak on. No, I can't say on other players on like what they're doing. But all I can say is starting to perform better. Trust in. Let's just say. Trust in Epic's.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. Trust in Epic's anti-cheat. You know, it's never gone wrong. So let's just keep it that way.
All right.
Let's wrap up this
on that bombshell.
Yeah. Let's wrap up this episode, man.
If you've got any players in the comments you want me to keep an eye out, I'll take a look. I'll happily, if someone comes up with a player in the comments who I thought was an interesting player for a weekly award, I'll shout you out. I'll shout you out on the podcast. So.
At this point, Booga's going to be our underrated player with how we've been talking about him, man.
Can't be underrated.
Yeah, you, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, you guys, both of you.
You're in this podcast, bud.
I mean, I don't hear
this podcast is actually on the Leven Network channel.
Yeah, this is his channel. Everything
Yeah.
said on this podcast, Leven approves.
Yeah, Leven approved every comment made.
He could have edited it out, you know? Yeah. He could have let it go.
I could have. I'm just too fucking lazy. So, you know what I mean? Just can't be asked. All right, boys. We'll be back next week for OG season. Appreciate you all, as always, for listening. If you made it this far in the episode, comment down below. We love Remix.
We love Remix.
Is it sponsored? Yeah, it's sponsored.
If this pod was sponsored, we'd all be eating.
We'd be doing an in-person one.
I wish this pod was sponsored. Hey, Epic, if you do want to sponsor this podcast. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Love you.
Catch out.
Peace.